Today I'm demonstrating Kona AI's Kona 2 module controlling a Hyundai Kona. This is a 2018 electric vehicle and it has built-in LKAS or lane keep assistant, as well as radar and its own camera. And the Kona AI system is designed to intercept and input its own data. Right now, the Kona system is only controlling steering. It doesn't control acceleration or deceleration, and so the vehicle is using its own built-in systems to do that. So I still have to set the cruise if I want it to follow a vehicle in front, or I can use the accelerator and brake to control the velocity of the vehicle. So if you look up here, you can see a vehicle is braking ahead of me, so the car is slowing down. And now that the vehicle is gone, the car will accelerate back up to whatever I've set the cruise speed to. And you can see up here the screen showing the data feed from the Kona 2 system. So far, the system seems to work pretty well, but it's missing a couple of things that make it not quite on par with the Tesla system. I think most critically, it hasn't got any kind of obstacle avoidance or sensing. And so that means if you're coming up to a cyclist, it will just plan on going straight through the cyclist. It won't try and drive around. And on top of that, if there's a car that's just over the center line, it won't nudge over to the left. Or if there's parked vehicles, it won't try and avoid them or even tell you to take control. It just plows on ahead. So potentially when longitudinal control comes into effect with this vehicle, we'll see that ability. So you can see there it couldn't quite do that turn, a bit too much velocity for the turn. When longitudinal control comes in or lateral control comes in where it can control velocity of the vehicle, these features might become more of a priority, but at least right now they're really only focusing on just generic steering on the road. So let's talk a bit about that. As you can see, we're currently driving down a country road, but there's a well-defined center line. And even with a well-defined center line, the vehicle prefers to be towards the left of the road. And with no center line, the vehicle will kind of pick a bias. It'll either go almost into the middle of the road, thinking that it's one wide lane, or it will go fairly extremely left of the road and sometimes actually drive up onto the grass just a little bit, which obviously is not ideal. So I'm doing a turn here, and of course it can't execute turns like that, so when I do indication I have to do that. So here we are, I've done a turn, and now we're back onto a road. So you'll see coming up there's this parked vehicle. It's just going to drive straight into that door, so I actually have to manually override the vehicle to keep it going without hitting stuff. And now we're in a road with no markings. You can see it's got me going right down the center of this road, or in fact in the right hand side, so I have to nudge it back into the left lane. And now it's getting very close to the hedge and grass, so there's a lot of work to be done with how it behaves on roads with no markings and how it behaves with the vehicle's width, because I don't like driving up curbs. So you see now it's put me into the center of the road, thinking that I'm in one wide lane. So it'd be nice to see it rely a bit more on GPS to give it positional data so it knows what to do, and knows when it's on a two-way road versus a single-way track. But it does fairly well otherwise. I think one thing I'd like to see, considering the cost of the kit being £1,000 or $1,000, is a more powerful phone or more powerful hardware, because right now they're using a very cheap Chinese smartphone that is quite frankly underpowered for its purpose. You see now it's popped me into the right lane having gone around that bend. So cheap Chinese phone just doesn't quite have the grunt to run some of the functionality that they've got added, and it can freeze up. Other than that, the system was very easy to install. I just had to plug it in between the camera and the vehicle with a special harness, and then I ran an Ethernet cable up through the ceiling, around down the A pillar and into the OBD port, and that just provides permanent 12 volts power. Overall, the system's, I mean, it's good, it's not Tesla's, I'll say that, and it's a shame to say that because it has so much potential, but I guess, you know, it will get better with time. I'm just surprised at where it is considering how long it's been around. Thank you for watching, and I'll give you more updates in the future.